Good morning. My name is Graham and I'm the land steward at Goose Pond Sanctuary. And so as the land steward, I do a lot of land management stuff, which would include invasive species removal, seed collection, wildlife surveys, and things of that nature. But I'm not actually at Goose Pond today. I'm at Seagull Marsh, which we also manage. And as I kind of walk around and describe some things, feel free to post your questions in the comment section, and we will be sure to get to you on those. So, Seagull Marsh is an 80-acre parcel owned by Madison Audubon, and it is just to the south of Rio. It's maybe 13 minutes from Goose Pond or so. So, totally different habitat than Goose Pond. Goose Pond is almost all mesic prairie, some dry mesic prairie. But this place, as you can see, consists mostly of woodlands in the uplands. And then also, straight in this direction, this is me looking north, past those pines is Goose Pond. And that's a large, more deep wetland that's also on the property. And I'd love to show it to you. However, it's really windy today, and I think my sound quality might suffer a little too much. But so, I just wanted to go through a couple things first. Number one is bird updates. And so, at Goose Pond, we did an Earth Day count just to see what was out there in honor of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's a big day. We actually did it the day after, but it was pretty close. Some notable things we found are, number one, the first wood duck nest ever found at Goose Pond. That was a big thing. I just put the wood duck house up maybe 2.5 or 3 weeks ago, and on that day of the count, I checked it, and there was a hen in the box on at least a dozen eggs. Not quite sure how many. I didn't count them. I didn't want to stay there too long. A couple other things of note were a record number of mallard pairs. We've got a lot of mallards, especially loafing on mudflats. Got a lot of shorebirds also. And another record we had was 53 yellow-rumped warblers, which was a ton. The last record was like 16 or something like that, so we really shattered that record. That was a fun experience. Other birds that are close by but not necessarily on the count, there was a red-necked grebe at Goose Pond on last Monday, and there was also a red-necked grebe on the wetlands that are to the northeast of DeForest. It's a birding hotspot. It's on the corner of DM and Harvey Road, also Wagnus Road goes right through there. So if you wanted to see an eared grebe, those are two pretty good places to do it. There's also been a few pairs of ibises in the area, not at Goose Pond, but this might be a good time to start looking for those guys as well. So back to Otsego. I've got a map here for you guys. So, this is the property itself, and you can see it's 80 acres, it's a big rectangle, and here I've got a legend. So I mentioned Goose Pond before, is this purple, and that takes up 25 acres, so it's a pretty substantial pond. And then the blue outlined around Goose Pond is emergent wetland, which is mostly cattails. The orange is some mixed hardwoods, and there's a lot of really nice white oaks in them, as well as some cherries and box elders and some other trees. And that forest type is right here on the right. So you can see some pretty large trees in there. Has an understory with a lot of good spring plants like geraniums. And then there's this green portion on the map, and that is some planted softwood, so a pine plantation. And that's right here on my left. So you can really see a stark contrast between the two forest types. And as a consequence, there's, with the habitat diversity, the different types of forest in the uplands as well as the wetlands, there's a lot of different bird species that can be found here. But so, first, a couple things on the history of this place. I just picked out two things that I thought were interesting about it. Number one, the previous owner was Frank Fries, and in 1978 he observed a fork-tailed flycatcher over Goose Pond, and that was perhaps the first state record. So again, that was in 1978. And then the other thing I chose was in 1984, Mr. Fries, that same guy, donated this 80 acres to the Nature Conservancy. And so 41 of those acres were donated to Madison Audubon, and the other 39 acres of it were purchased by Madison Audubon. So, right, TNC was selling this land, and what's interesting about that is the money that was generated by the 39 acres that TNC got went to acquiring the Black Earth Redmond Prairie State Natural Area, which is a really good remnant prairie out by Black Earth. So that's just a couple pieces of history. The other things we got, there's a lot of amphibians at Otsego Marsh. There's wood frogs, spring peepers, leopard frogs, copes, and gray tree frogs, toads. Might be missing one, but there's a lot of them. And the frog and toad survey has been run by Mark and Sue at this location since, I believe, '84. So it's a really good spot for amphibians. Not entirely sure if there are salamanders here or not. I would like to think so. There are Blanding's turtles that have been reported. It's definitely painted turtles. But so a lot of frogs and toads, and also some good reptiles out here as well. I mentioned before with the different cover types, there's a lot of different bird species. One of my favorite things to look for here is scarlet tanagers. I see them every year, usually at least a few. They're an awesome bird to see. They're so striking. They stick out from all over the place. But as I came in here today, saw a red-bellied woodpecker, some warblers, some other woodpeckers, and that's because they're really attracted to these pines. The pines are kind of declining, and they make really good nesting habitat, foraging habitat. So other stuff you might see in the pines would be nuthatches. Nuthatches love this kind of stuff. And it's nice, again, to have that contrast between the pines and then this open woodland that you can see over here. So, as long as we're here, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of geraniums here. And these little guys are some fresh geraniums popping up. There's carpets of them at Otsego Marsh. There's really a lot of them. They get a really pretty purplish pink flower, sort of a light color. And there's also a ton of ferns. The fern diversity at Otsego Marsh is really high. Sometimes you'll get stands of them that are just solid with ferns, which is a really good sight. Oh, this is good. This is one of my favorite plants over here, also just emerging. This is the mayapple. It's a clone former, So you can kind of see that this is probably one plant, and it's all spread out around me with these little stalks. Some of the leaves will come out singularly, like that guy, but some of them will be doubles, like this one. And this in the center here will eventually become the flower. It's a little white flower that drapes down, and it does look vaguely like an apple. So this is a cool place to see spring plants, especially when other more open grassland plants are more dormant during this time of year. It's nice to see a lot of green foliage on the ground. There are also a fair number of mammals here. Last year, I was working here at Otsego. I got very close accidentally to a fawn who was bedded down. The doe had just left her there, as they do, and that fawn sat so tight. And after I saw her, I had to just leave her alone. Obviously, it's what you're supposed to do, but that was a really cool experience. So I really like spending time at Otsego Marsh, especially looking at the pond. I really recommend that people come and visit it. We've got 1.5 miles of hiking trails. You can see I'm sitting on one right now. Runs off in that direction. Then there's another one there. You can see the trail sign right there, the little hiking guy. But so this is a great place to bird and just walk around. Land management that take place at Otsego Marsh and other property is thanks to members and other contributors. So if you would like to donate, I encourage that you visit the Madison Audubon website and click the donate button at the bottom of the page. So again, woodpeckers making noises out there right now. Again, I encourage you guys to come out and visit Otsego Marsh. Visit Goose Pond, look for that grebe. Also, black-necked stilt was observed at Goose Pond. I forgot to mention that. So I think that's all I got for you guys today. Again, if you've got questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.